Coffee time.
So, what kind of coffee you guys like?
We can do nice coffee or kind of a tobacco coffee mix.
I
Or
kind of
what?
want to do like a coffee that's good on its own, and then see if we could just throw tobacco in it and see if it works.
When you say a coffee, do you mean a black coffee?
No, just a real creamy coffee.
Okay.
I think so. I have a couple favorite coffees, and really the trick to them is drowning them in something creamy. That seems to be the most. That seems to be the most enjoyable way of vaping them.
A good trick to make a coffee is to use RY4.
Yeah. Okay. So a creamy, sweet coffee with
Yeah.
tobacco. Okay. So the first thing we probably need to talk about is what coffees that we have.
Wonder Flavors Brazilian coffee.
I don't have it.
You don't have it?
Do you have Flavora Biscotti?
I do now.
Because that is definitely a coffee.
Maybe it would be more viable to do it not a real coffee.
Do any of y'all have Wonder Flavors Pecans and Cream?
Yeah, I have that one.
That's coffee.
That's the best way to do it, and it's kind of creamy.
But would you use that one to make a real coffee?
Yeah, it works really well.
Yeah,
like 3 or 4%. Yeah, it's coffee.
Roasted pecans and cream, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's coffee. It's a creamy coffee.
Nutty, creamy coffee.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not nutty in the way that a roasted pecan is.
No,
it's
no,
more
no,
like
no,
a
no.
roasted coffee bean. It's like one of those delightful inaccuracies of a flavor.
Yeah, it's definitely not what it says on the bottle, but it's very useful.
I can see these 3 flavors working in a tobacco: biscotti, roasted pecans and cream, and the Connecticut shade.
I don't think you need the biscotti though.
Yeah, I think that using one or the other would probably be the best option because the biscotti is super strong. It's super strong.
And you don't need the Connecticut shade, that you don't want that to overtake anything, and sometimes it can. I don't think you're gonna want 3 coffees together.
You wouldn't use Connecticut shade, or you wouldn't use biscotti?
I wouldn't use 3 of them together. The one that I have the most issues with is the biscotti. I think that Connecticut shade and roasted pecans and cream would be really good together.
Maybe an RY4 double TPA.
Yeah, I would do that.
And maybe another cream, like a milky cream undertone or that kind of cream.
I mean, you could even use a coffee milk froth, but how unctuous do you want that with a tobacco too? I don't know.
Maybe we can try this. We can try the roasted pecan with the Connecticut shade and RY4.
I don't even know if you totally need the Connecticut shade either. TBA is not bad though. It's just there's no tobacco in it, but it's not bad.
So are we going heavy on the dark notes and not so much on the milky notes?
Yeah, I would think so. I think that that's probably a good option to go that kind of direction.
So this is not really like a sweet creamy coffee. It's more of a tobacco coffee.
Do we want the main note to be the tobacco or the coffee?
It's just a balance of the two.
Well, any coffee is going to be enhanced with a cream. We know that.
Yeah,
I've worked on this profile like a million times. and honestly, they're never bad. There's just which way do you want to do it?
So if we use the RY4, the TPA RY4 double, we're going to probably need to add some type of vanilla or cream or something like that in there.
Yeah. I think that once we find a balance between the roasted pecans, the Connecticut shade, and the Airboy 4, then we can think about vanillas, caramels, and creams.
Well, the pecans and cream to me is not very heavy on the cream.
It's creamy mouthfeel, but it's not dairy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's ultra smooth. I love milk and honey with roasted pecans and cream. I think it works really well. It gives you more of that cream. It gives you more of that fullness. It works so well with tobaccos. It's just they're always going to work together.
I don't know, milk and honey and Airboy 4 double both have that brown sugar note.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they're kind of similar. Only the TPA double don't have the creaminess. Yeah, I'm thinking we could probably use one or the other, and then add something that's just kind of a creaminess.
I think the Airboy 4 is going to have the coffee and also that tobacco.
But RY4 double is such a bad tobacco.
It's a bad tobacco, but it's helping the tobacco, it's supporting the tobacco, and also supporting the coffee and the cream.
So it depends on how much cream you want.
Okay, but if we use one of those, the only tobacco we are going to have is Connecticut shade.
No, I just want to figure out that layer first.
The coffee tobacco layer.
The coffee cream layer. The
Okay.
coffee versus how much cream, and then we can figure out which tobaccos are going to work with that. Yeah. So when it comes to roasted pecans and cream, what do you guys like about it, and what do you guys want more of out of it?
If I'm building a coffee, but I want it to be a creamy coffee, and I'm using Wonder Flavors pecans and cream, to me that needs more cream to make that a creamy coffee. If we're just using the Wonder Flavors pecans and cream as the coffee, and we see that it's not really that pronounced of a coffee, then we can always boost that coffee with biscotti or whatever.
There's two ways of doing it. If you want to figure out which tobacco you want to use with roasted pecans and cream, then we can figure out if we want a cream or if we want more of a vanilla or more of a caramel.
I think that the conflict of flavors is going to be between the coffee and the tobacco. Once we have that solved, we can choose a cream that fits more easily than having a good creamy coffee and then trying to pair it with the tobacco. But because by then we are not going to know if the problem is the coffee or the cream that we are using.
So I think what Not Chef is saying is that the coffee is going to be a dominant thing, the tobacco is going to be a dominant thing, and to get those to work together is probably more important than getting the coffee and the cream to work with the tobacco.
Okay. What tobaccos do you guys like?
Oh, you are the tobacco master.
So for me, a good tobacco, this is kind of going to be almost a dessert tobacco, right? Because you got coffee, it's going to be kind of sweet, it's going to be creamy, so you want kind of a dessert type of tobacco, which to me means a leafy kind of tobacco, nothing real ashy,
Not smoky.
smoke.
So you don't really want to. You want more of like a pipe tobacco, but not being smoked. A really good option would be that sweet and smoky. It's not really smoky though. It's basically your perfect dessert tobacco.
It's what Airboy 4 would be if that would really be a tobacco. So we have roasted pecans and we have sweet and smoky tobacco.
You just hate tobacco. That's your problem.
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. So we have Wonder Flavors pecans and cream, Flavora sweet and smoky. Are we going to bolster that with RY4 or milk and honey or something like that?
Do you want to just try those two together?
If you want to add now the milk and honey or the Airboy 4, we can try it now.
You guys want to use milk and honey? Yeah. It's a good bridge. It's gonna work with the tobacco, and it works so well with the roasted pecans and cream. What percentage do you guys want to do with the roasted pecans and cream?
I'm thinking like 3, maybe 4%.
I could do 3.
The sweet and smoky tobacco.
I think 2. I'm gonna mix it right now.
Okay, so
Again.
Wonder Flavors, pecans and cream, 3%. Flavora milk and honey, 1%, and Flavora sweet and smoky at 2%. This is our first version of a creamy coffee tobacco. Very simple recipe to start off with. Only 3 ingredients. It's in fact a 1-2-3 recipe. Okay, so we're going to start out with Flavora milk and honey at 1%. Next, we have Wonder Flavors roasted pecans and cream. My bottle says roasted pecans, but it's the same thing. Wonder Flavors roasted pecans and cream at 3%. And Flavora sweet and smoky tobacco at 2%.
What do you think of this?
I know why Not Chef was wanting to use the TPA RI4 double, because it does like mask kind of that tobacco.
This is bold for me. For my kind of vaping, this is very bold and like strong.
I think it's very, very good, but I'm missing the coffee a little bit.
Yeah.
It's mostly
But it's not-
tobacco.
It's not overly earthy though.
The tobacco is the tobacco we should use for sure.
Yeah.
I like this tobacco here, but it's too strong compared to the coffee.
So pulling that one part of milk and honey that is like kind of dark and caramelly, do you see how that actually is kind of like RY4 double in a way with that sweet and smoky?
Yes. It's not
But
the same,
more-
but it's the tobacco part of the RY4. I want to try putting RY4 here.
I don't think it's a bad idea. I hope it boosts the coffee more.
Don't trust me, because I would do anything to cover that tobacco. So
You have to look for that coffee note in there.
To me, the Wonder Flavors pecans and cream is just an enhancer to the tobacco and the milk and honey. It's not really coming off as a coffee. It's not too bold.
Yeah.
For me, for somebody that really doesn't like tobaccos, I can see it being a little bold. So you're saying that the TPA RI4 double combined with the Wonder Flavors pecans and cream is going to enhance that coffee note?
yes, it's going to be more like a creamy coffee, not a coffee.
How much RY4 does?
3.
Okay, so we took our original recipe and we added 3% TPA RI4 double. I really like this too, guys. I still think if this is going to be a coffee tobacco, that we still need to do something about that coffee there.
It didn't add more coffee to it.
No, it's more smooth.
I think it's muting stuff though.
Well, I think that was kind of the point with Not Chef. He wanted to mute that tobacco. So.
I don't know. Should we just add more roasted pecans and cream? I feel like it really shines at 4%. So we all agree it needs more coffee.
I think more coffee and more cream.
Well, I'm gonna add a little bit more of that roasted pecans and cream. Just add 1 more percent. And then it'll be a 1, 2, 3, 4. I still think Connecticut Shade might be the one that works.
What do you think, Folkart?
I think we should come back to this one.
I have to say that I really did like the first version.
Maybe the first one with Connecticut Shade added.
So what do you think about this mix, Max?
I like it. Definitely helped the coffee. It's a little more leafy.
It's not what I kind of had envisioned for the profile, though. I mean, I was expecting a bolder kind of coffee.
It might not be done.
I mean, as a recipe to vape, I could vape this all day. I love. In fact, I liked all of them. I liked the first version, and this version probably the best. But it still wasn't exactly what I had in my mind.
I think it's good. I just don't know if the profile is the same.
We made what 3 different versions of it.
Yeah. Yeah, there is work to be done. I think that we have a good base to keep working on it. It's not perfect for the profile we're looking for.
All right, guys. I don't know if this one's exactly done or not yet, but we're gonna keep working on this one. It didn't come out exactly as planned. The coffee isn't quite there, but we're gonna keep working on it, and we'll show you what we have in another episode, sooner episode.